to this day. The second, and quite frankly, the most important, was how little these records made of their supplies, their equipment, their gear, and the actual blocks upon which they stood. As I was researching this, I was reminded of a similar situation with the country known formerly as Livonia. As I'm sure many of you know, and even some remember, not 2 years ago, this very land we stand on right now was the subject of a regional war. Long before the wars that would take place later at the end of 2024, their leader, who is now infamously talked about, Cactus Callum, was the most controversial and perhaps universally disliked player on Trotu. That reputation still follows his name closely to this day. So with these two examples, we have a country that is almost exclusively remembered positively by players, and a country that still sparks fire in many players' eyes when it is mentioned, even now. Then I realized these two nations could have been practically the same, yet the thing that separated them most is the reason, the purpose that they fought every battle or gathered at every meeting. One chose mediation, restraint, and ordinance, and the other chose power and control at any cost. Another example also springs to my mind, relating to a Cold War in the past between the EAC and the Adeptus Mechanicus. When Vorain Gall hired an attack at the Cold War Peace Summit, Nathan Van Danziger proceeded to write a positive opinion of Vorain Gall shortly after that. The man who sponsored the terrorist act received positive words, but conversely, the man who actually carried out the attack, Pommet, is reviled because he just did it for attention. If that is not as eye-opening about the importance of the nature of intention on Trotu, I do not know what is. As we start this event, I want you to keep this in mind. We do not remember any country on Trotu for the amount of netherite sets they had. History simply does not care. We do not even remember any Trotu country for their prowess or skill in battle. The records may make mention, but it cares far more about what you actually achieved with that skill. We remember countries on Trotu for the purpose, the reason behind every swing of the sword. That matters far more than any amount of free mark, netherite, or battle fought, win or loss, ever will. Thank you. All right, so that was my speech. Thank you. And so now, if I can go to mini news, and I will, by the way, I know we don't have any acolytes, but I will be writing it in a book and putting it in the library in case you wanted to read it. So our first topic is thoughts on the Valoran claim expansion. So we're going to start out with Valora. And so just a quick FYI, the way that this works is if you have a territory or a country located in the continent of Astray, you will be given priority over those who are not located in the continent. However, once discussions around that topic have ended from the Astray nations, if you wish, you will be given the floor to speak, and you can make your statements as you wish. So yeah, if Valora wants to, whoever is representing Valora would like to come up to the stand and talk about their thoughts on Valoran claim expansion, and if anybody has any sort of rebuttals or if they're not happy about what's said, feel free to take the stage, but try to be diplomatic and orderly about it. So looks like Jet Fox. Cool.
First of all, the Kingdom of Valora does not claim any land that we have no plan to develop or change in some way. We are not trying to claim land just to have it or for some short-lived ideal of glory, but to actually develop the land, change it, build upon it, and make our continent a better place, not just for the Kingdom of Valora, but for every nation. inhabiting the Astray continent. Sorry, the area. And us, not just us, but every nation in Astray claiming land not only prevents colonialism but also encourages activity. That's my main ideas. If you have any questions.
I have a question. So we've seen the borders of Valoran territories go east and eastward. Are there any major cities that Valora is developing apart from the capital, which is Nova? And if so,
Yes,
how is that grown?
yes. Right now I'm personally in charge of developing the city of Saint Tom that has been stood as just an empty shell of a city for probably years since it was built. We started terraforming the area. We started building new temples, universities, parks. I personally live in that city now, and I know by experience that our other members are developing other cities like Bundesstadt, and the one is Abe is working on. I can't remember the name. South Shore, I think. Yeah,
South
South
Shore.
Shore. South Shore, Bundesstadt, Saint Tom. We are working on many cities, but just not just the cities, but the roads between cities, landmarks, statues, and many more.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Does anybody else have any other questions they would like to ask Jet Fox or anybody from Valora? All right.
Not questions.
Well,
I
if there's
have
no other questions, we can move on to our second topic.
I don't have a question, but I do have a word I want to say.
Yes, go for it.
Yes. This is a bit late because it already happened. But a while ago, when Valora was slowly moving towards its greatness of today, I believe they have achieved quite some greatness. Vindex and Abe were requesting for a piece of land that Atlasia owned called Pasmotia. And for a very long time, Vindex has been asking it from me, and I said, when Valora succeeds, it's yours. When you develop your land, it's yours. And eventually, that did happen. I wanted to do some sort of event to properly give it to them and celebrate the moment. That unfortunately couldn't be done. But I'll take this moment to congratulate Vindex, and this is the official way of me saying I think Valora is doing good, and I think Valora, earned Patmosha, and I will be very happy when I see what you guys have planned for it. So that's it. Congratulations, Valora.
Thank you very much. Very, very well said. I think it's personally interesting how well Valora has developed. I think in many regards they are the dominant country on Trotu, or not on Trotu, but in Astray, maybe even on Trotu in terms of activity and recent development. And as Karma likes to point out, she's not happy with the pranks, but I'm sure it's all done in good fun. And so this does, it kind of answers both of the next topic as well, internal developments. Karma, if you want, you can come up here, and if I know you don't speak through the mic, but if you want to say something, I can read it out for you, if you would like to. All right, yeah. So just type in chat, and I'll announce it. I can just see Karma just furiously typing on her keyboard, filled with rage.
We have an international invader to this meeting, I see.
Oh my goodness, guys,
What?
this isn't very diplomatic. I think they can stay here. They're fine for now. They're gonna have to. Okay, here we go. These Valorans, admittedly, have made great progress, but at the end of the day, They are Voluzers at their core. They are filthy, they are unintelligent, and they have no class. They left filthy, polluted chicken in my home. And if anybody is wondering, the chicken situation is quite extensive. It is a lot.
I read a
Vindex replied, Your Honor, they are simply wrong because they filled our diplomatic room with chickens first.
I have heard that. These pranks started when I was hit with a fart wind charge in my brewery. I know Tarsia technically isn't in Astray, but I feel like there's enough dynamic here to really have a great conversation. Make Tarsia Astray. Maxi, you know what? Okay, Maxi. My Valoran Tarsian dual citizen was corrupted by these Valorans. He was well behaved until he joined the ranks. Was just an innocent Stokie. All right, Karma. I unfortunately, to get through with time, I am gonna have to take the stage. Would anybody else like to make any further comments on Valora's internal developments or claim expansion? Now would be the time.
Yeah. I have something short to say.
Yes.
Like 6-7 months ago, and this is not like a mean comment, Irenion and Valora were at war. However, we would like to congratulate and thank Valora for their comprehension and for their openness to be able to ally and be our friends and leave the past behind. And we would also like to congratulate them for their recent development, and we expect mutual support between us for a better future in Astray. So that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Asa. Very well said. Very well said. Yes, someone who appreciates us. Okay, welcome, Joda. Now is our next topic, and I know one person who wants to talk a lot about it, but it's the our Atlasian continent. So, what will our relations, us as a continent, with all of our different countries, what will our relations with the continent of Atlasia be? Especially given Atlasia's recent developments. I know Rise probably, I know he has a lot to say, but would any Astrayan nations like to talk about Atlasia? I think Valora might have a lot to say about it since they are closest, and the graffiti incident recently at the wall has been, there's been a spotlight on that. Would Valora like to make a statement?
I can give a short speech.
Yes.
In the matter of nation relations in Astray, we support cooperation between nations and then underlining the need for development rather than land hoarding or any uncontrolled conflicts. We support all beneficial relations between all nations, not just with Valora and other nations, but between other nations as well. And we are willing to be the mediators in most wars or conflicts if need be. But I want to say that this mission should not just be on our shoulders. I want to call out to all other Astray nations that to support all beneficial wars and beneficial relations and mediate uncontrolled conflicts to keep our place a good continent. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I thought Joda was online, but apparently not. So would okay. I think we've had a murder
Logging.
In the building. But would anybody else like to make a statement about Atlasia who's in Astray? We will get to non-Astrayan country shortly. Anybody in Astray? Now would be the time. No? All right. Well, now is a great time. If you are non-Astrayan country / territory, I think this is your time to talk. So if you would like to, please take the stage.
I could take the stage, I suppose.
All right.
Alright. Yeah. Well, given that this is the part where we talk about the relationship between our continents, I'll start with the obvious. You know, there's this big ass wall dividing our two continents. Big ass kind of is short. Now, this wall, to be clear, was there before I arrived at Atlasia. This was built by Randonite many years ago. It was to protect themselves from foreign invaders, which were at the time, you know, a threat to Randonite. And through the years it stood. Now, at this point, you know, the wall is there, and to many it stands as a symbol of division. To me, it stands as a monument of what Trotuserver is able to do. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I benefit a lot from the wall being there, because historically, as Kaisen has, you know, researched, and as we all know, Astray has had its fair share of conflicts. And luckily, Atlasia hadn't had that situation. But on the other side, Astray also had a lot more activity over the years than Astray. So there's pros and cons to everything. The wall will stay, because this point is just a beautiful monument to architecture. And sure, there's now graffiti on it, and if more appears, I'll yell at it, you know, like old man yells at cloud kind of thing. But I would love to extend a hand to this, what we have right here, you know, different people from Astrayan nations coming together and say, hey, we are open to doing business, we're open to do diplomacy. I myself have started, had the first meeting. I intend to do a little tour of diplomacy, if you want to call it some way, and meet the different nations here in Astray. I started with Iranian, met with Asa the other day, and I do intend to keep that going with different nations as my own nation, the Kingdom of Atlasia, starts developing. So our arms are open. We welcome this new civilized Astray into our continent, and if you want to conduct business on diplomacy, we're always open. However, just in case, not necessarily someone in this room, but someone outside this room, because there's been threats in the past, wants to invade Atlasia, any of the countries, the wall stands up, and I intend to defend it. But I don't think anyone in this room at this time has that intentions. Just saying it for the ones that did have it. Anyways, that's about it.
I do have a question for you, Rice. And this actually is a question for the representative of Valora. This is also kind of my not knowledgeable. Is there a connection point in the wall between Atlasia and Valora that leads? Is there a way, or do you have to fly over it?
There is a door. There is a door.
There is a door.
And it's open.
Is it? Okay, all right. I was gonna ask if there isn't. Is it like a grand thing, or is it just like a 2-block thing? I don't know.
It's not a 2-block thing. It's not a grand thing. It is small. It's closer to the hunt actually than it is to Valora.
Okay.
I do intend in the future. I have projects right now. I'm opening a marketplace in 1 week. But once that's done, I do intend to build at some point a rail line connecting both continents. I think that would be pretty fun. It can literally be
Yeah.
a hole through the wall and the rail come through. Could be nice, but we'll get there when
Yeah.
we get there.
So I was just thinking, if there wasn't, it would be nice for new players if there could be a like just an easy way to get to Atlasia and from Atlasia to Astray, but it appears there is. So very good. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I can send the coordinates just in case anyone wants.
Cool. I'll take a screenshot. Welcome Yoda. What's up? So
That's where the entrance.
I say, cool. Very
Anything
nice.
else?
Would anybody else like to make a statement on Rise Cults, or like a response, or on the topic in general? Anybody in this room would like to say something? Now is your time. All right. It looks like we will move on to the next topic. And this is an interesting one. This is a very interesting one. If you guys want, you guys don't have to stand back there. You guys can come have a seat up here if you want. I'm not forcing you guys to do anything. But I just don't want you guys standing around the whole time. All right. Okay, Theodosia. So recently, there has been a sale, Relja, or I'm not sure what his RP name is, but Relja has sold the land to Zeltier, and the nature of the sale is very strange. So he framed it in a way that it would be it's his personal claim, which is I personally don't like that one bit. It begs the question: does Askegard have a presence on Astray? But in the most recent map, if you guys take a look at the most recent map by Abe, Theodosia is completely missing. It is unclaimed land. So does anybody know for certain what the nature and status of the land is? And Joda, we will get to you, but I unfortunately do have to prioritize Astray nations first. But you will have your chance. Don't worry. So would anybody from Astray like to comment on it? Now would be the time.
Allow me. I'm
Right.
going to start by the end. I think Celtier is annoying and a very bad Trotu player. He doesn't do RP that is in shitpost, and I very much support the thing that Karma should have gotten Theodos instead. I don't think anything is going to come out of that new Theodosian abomination under Celtier, other than a potential Askegard proxy. And that's it. I don't think anything is going to happen that isn't shitpost, or I don't think he's even going to value the land he just bought. And I think it's a very sad situation in Astray because as I am a new player, because like I wasn't here until 1 or 2 years ago, I don't remember. So I didn't see Theodosian at its prime. But I know it has history, and I think it saddens me a lot that it has fallen into this situation that's been ruled by a very explicit shitposter. That's it.
All right. Are there any other Australian nations who would like to talk? All right. Take the stage. And if you don't have a mic, because I don't know if you have a mic or not, I can read it out for you if needed. I want to start with saying that I think this is a money laundering scheme by Kartek and Zeltier. Because think about it. Zeltier fought in the Battle of Mar, I think that's how you say it, with Kartek. Relja and Zeltier are friends. And the thing is, I offered Relja around 30 netherite for some mountains, and he still, quote, sold it to Zeltier. Interesting. I did not know this. And so this has to be a way to use Zeltier as a proxy. So, in a way, Kartek still owns Theodosia. Thank you. That is very eye-opening, Ekazet, because I didn't know that. But yeah, that's very interesting because I think I was aware there was a sort of bidding war, but I didn't know the nature of it. Would anybody else from Astray like to make a statement? And then I would also like to make my own short statement as well. Anybody else? All right. If nobody else will, I will get say what I want to say. I think the nature. Oh, Ekazet, if you would like to come back up, you are welcome to. I also offered the same amount to Zeltier. But he has not sold it to me yet. So this is because either he bought it for a ridiculous price, or what I was saying earlier is true. Interesting. Very interesting. So I do have one thing to add at the end. I know this is kind of a hot topic, but I will say one thing. So I think the nature of a quote personal claim on Trotu is absolutely ridiculous, especially for a nation that is literally the reincarnation of Theodosia. It's I don't even know if it's a country. I think it is completely unacceptable, and I would push us as a continent to actually do something about it, because that is land that could be used by so many different new players. And if anybody would like to make a motion of some sort, we could definitely organize that. And I think from what I'm seeing in the chat, most of you guys agree. So now I am going to open it to players outside of Astray. So if you would like to do so, you can go ahead and do that. Take the stage. Karma. I will read out what you have to say. Originally, I was aiming for buying Port Luna and Oak City. However, I then talked to Relja about buying the whole of Theodosia However, it was going to be land for new players. So it would be held by me, so we didn't have any incidents of players instantly claiming that land. Cough, cough. I even talked to other people, such as Lucky Shark, in trying to work on making Astray more appealing for new players. However, I was not informed about Zeltier's sudden offer, since Relja knew I wanted to buy Theodosia for that reason, as well as me and Lucky discussing about getting Oak City. I was given a womp womp, not big deal when I confronted Relja on the topic of informing me when an offer was made like he said it would. Like he said he would. Something doesn't feel right about it all, and I don't think Zeltier has any real plans to use the land, or at least it's going to be for someone else. As previously mentioned, they are friends. And through the chat, many are also agreeing with this. And just FYI, everybody, I do have one little small thing to add. Karma says, but I don't think there's much we can do about it unless it's taken by force. However, that likely isn't the best method nor outcome. But we should keep an eye about them. Very interesting. I originally offered 100 netherite for the whole 100 netherite? Oh my goodness. For the whole country, as Relja asked and was willing to go higher to get a hold of it. And it is disappointing Kartik did not make an appearance, nor Zeltier. But I think IRL issues did get in the way of that. Just want to let you guys know. 100 netherite is insane, though. No idea how much he paid for Theodosia.
I think I think it was 110 netherite. Or
goodness. Wow. 120.
Yeah.
All right. I do want to say one thing, Karma, real quick. It has come to my attention through a player who I will keep anonymous that they have 100% confirmation that the lands of Praga in Astray that were given to Felix were in fact just a Kartik proxy that backfired.
Allow me to say something. Foxy himself, Felix himself, I think admitted to that the other day in a channel in the Discord. So like, It's not
Wow.
a very discrete information, and many of
Yeah.
us kind of suspected that already, since the way he made his little proxy state was already very very suspicious. He brings a player that disappeared like several months ago, and then he claims the country for himself, and then he starts claiming other stuff. Like, there's something that doesn't add up, and that it was a very badly covered operation from you know who.
Yes. This person also says they used. Oh, interesting. They used Felix to take the backlash, and they intended to take it after. Interesting. So I think the majority of this panel has come to an agreement. Jota, yes, you are welcome on the stage now.
Yes, I've been intending to speak quite a while.
I'm very sorry about that.
It's all right. It is something that happens quite often to me. Essentially, I can, as essentially always, I can only really say what I've been told in rather close quarters conversations with these people, and I have to say that even though practically and essentially de facto that this territory which was claimed by Felix was essentially was a Kartek proxy. It wasn't. It essentially did not happen under the intention of Kartek itself. Mainly being that I was basically there when it happened, and saw the reaction of the of Kartek's Minister of Foreign Affairs, essentially myself, and he was incredibly surprised and quite frankly also a little bit annoyed at the fact that he was not enlightened by the entire thing. What I have also I've also been quite close in the negotiations in regards to the selling of Theodosia, and from what I've been again only told that Zeltia essentially told the Emperor of Kartak that he intends on having it as a personal claim, but letting it be given to new players if they express, in the event that they express interest in establishing a new polity in the area. Otherwise, I do not think that I have anything else to say unless there may be something else brought up, and I may get some other ideas what I can also bring in fairly you could say intimate contact in this regard. Essentially just being in the same room and voice chats while talking to them about this.
All right, thank you very much, Joda. So I did know when I had added this to the list that this would be perhaps the most intriguing and most discussed one, and as I suspected, that is exactly what this is. I think we in this room all agree that the current state of the lands of Theodosia are unacceptable, quite frankly. And I would encourage the people in this room, if you're interested, we could, as Karma has pointed out, Theodosia should be free for the new players. I agree. but it shouldn't be under the control of somebody who can say, "Oh yeah, this if you want this land, you have to be under my domain." It should be the new player's domain. In my personal opinion, I think it's unacceptable, and I would motion somebody to. I think we should, as a group, make a change for the benefit of the new players, because it is very clear to me that this has been used as a sort of like everybody has talked about proxy. I understand, Joda, but that is my personal view. If anybody would like to add something to this topic, now would be your time.
I have something.
All right, I'm not seeing
I
anybody,
have
so
something.
we
Sorry, I was muted.
yes, go for it. You're welcome to take this.
I do see this as a broader, older problem. I've commented before. The old, oh, these are just my personal claims move is reappearing, which has existed since 2019, where people would say, oh, no, but this is not my country. This is my personal claims. You shouldn't invade this. I want to, call bullshit on that. Especially when they say, oh, new players can come here and develop it, but it's still under me. Lucky used to do that, and we called him out for it, and he changed, and thank you, Lucky, you did great. However, the old, oh, they're still my lands, but you can develop them for me without being a country. Yeah, I'm gonna publicly call bullshit on that. Either they're part of their country or they're not. And if you want to claim them and to then distribute them, so you want to protect them from other people, okay, but then distribute them for real. Like in Atlasia, what we have is a term is like, hey, these lands are up, like open for claim. We do have them lined up as Atlasia, but it's yours. Once we give it to you, it's yours. We're not intending to keep those lands, and that should be the case for everywhere. If you want to do a protectorate for some lands, awesome, but then give them away. Don't just say, oh, you're building them under me, but I'm not a country, guys. Yeah, I want to call bullshit on that. That's it. It's 2026, guys. Come on.
All right. Joda, I will read that out. He says, honestly, I would have liked seeing Theodosia as a sovereign nation, considering its long-standing and impressive history and heritage, being on the first of the countries to standing up against the tyranny of communism in Astray. Okay. All right. If anybody would like to take the stage, anybody else? Jet, do you want to take the stage?
Just in case, Jed, you're muted.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was just yapping to the empty,
Right.
to the void.
All right, start over.
This quote-unquote personal claims or colonialism or land hoarding has been an issue in the server for a long time, as Rice stated. And especially for these inhabitable, important historical lands, I would like to suggest a joint protectorate. Not me. The Valor would like to suggest a joint protectorate action for all of us to take, everybody in this room and anybody who would like to join, for these kind of lands to be protected by a unity of nations, a council of nations, and distributed to new players or players who are willing to expand on those lands.
Okay, so we do have a motion by the representative of Valora. Would anybody, if you are interested in joining, if you could just say like I in chat, AYE, and then JetFox, if you would like to talk to them privately and organize something, you are very welcome to do that.
Yes.
So if you're interested, just say I in chat. and then you can do that privately. But just for the sake of time, I do want to continue to move on. And of course, you don't have to say you could just reach out to them privately, DMs, and that is your own business that you can do in private. I do want to move on to the next topic, since we have taken quite a bit of time with this topic, and it's what is the land that is known as Mishagrad, and Iranian. I never know how to say it.
Iranian, or like you can
Iranian.
Iranian, but like maybe my Spanish accent is filtering the pronunciation.
Azza, would you like to come and speak?
Oh,
Since you are
sure. So, Iranian in Astray, well, we came here more or less by accident. You know, a certain person that got banned a while ago. And, well, he claimed Mishagrad. I don't know exactly what he wanted to do with it. He said he wanted to do stuff, but then there's other, like, evidence that he did it to cook other people out of the land. I don't know. He gave it to us later. And, like, we could have, when we got it, we didn't really know what to do with it. However, after a brief inspection, after a brief inspection of the land, we decided that it was a shame that that place that has seen so much trouble, so much conflict, and so much pain in general, and that could be such a great location, was that we didn't want it to fall into disrepair and to be abandoned. So, like, we decided to invest in Mishagrad, and we have been actively investing in Mishagrad. We have contacted Abe, we have contacted both Jota and Maxi to build stuff in it. Right now, it's a bit quiet, but there's pretty evidence that Iranian is in Astray, not for military reasons or for, I don't know, forcing power into another region of the world, but for development and protection of other lands. And that's all we wanted to say. Well, yes, I had a project. I was thinking on a little project, but due to what happened in Theodosia, I am not sure how much it could be accomplished. And I mentioned it back in one of the player waves, and it's like making a whole road or infrastructure program that could connect all of Astray, from Misagrad to Nova, then to, I don't know, other. I'm not very familiar to the geography of the place, but the original plan was going to be from Britannia to Misagrad, from Misagrad to Nova, and then it could branch to other important places, and that could be used to one of the primary benefits to connect all the continent. So, in summary, we are here for development, for business, and nothing else, and by accident too. So
I
thank
do have
you.
a question for you.
Oh
guys.
yeah. Go.
So I did see
go.
in mini news. There was, I think it was mini news.
Mhm.
There was a statement made by Closed TTD that here we go.
Yeah,
just
that
a
he's
quick
in
announcement.
Visano. He's in
Yeah.
Visano right now. Yeah.
Bayside / Visano. So what can we expect from that, and will we be hearing more in the future from that?
Well, I think he should come here and say it, but right now, like, well, if he wants to elaborate, you can read because he's the
Yeah.
first person that could talk about his
Yeah,
plans.
absolutely. And if you don't have a mic, I will read it for you. And just keep in mind, guys, we are going to have to wrap this up before the next hour due to the new player wave. Out of courtesy, I don't want to overlap it. So we are going to be moving a little quicker on the topics. I hope you guys understand. Just the Theodosia topic took quite a long time. Here, as you could have beetroot stew. There you go.
Ooh,
Merry Christmas.
thank you. Wait, I don't have. Wait, do I have it? Oh, thank you. Uh, uh,
This is our intermission. Our short intermission.
Uh,
All right.
let me see here.
Close TTD says, "Hey, I'm currently working on renovating and improving the city. I've recently finished construction of an industrial area, and I've begun work on a metro system for the place." Very cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do have a residence in Bayside for my previous character actually, but never mind. Anyways, we will be moving on to the next topic, and let me get my list up real quick. Where is it? Here we go. Okay, this is more of a discussion, and I would like to hear as many inputs and opinions as we possibly can. Who is Astray's dominant power? And I let's just open it up. Would anybody like to come up and speak first?
I had an idea on what to say, and maybe it's something that like I was thinking about it, and then especially today after seeing the recently published map of the world, I saw like what nations are there in Astray right now that are active. Well, you have Valora in the south, you have Mishagrad in the north, you have like Lucky Shark, Weird Claim, there is the Hunt, there is Ecothet with his Crux Corporation claim, there is Valerian. However, if you see discounting the nations that are not really active, if you see the two more active nations right now are Iranian and Valora in Astray. And the thing is that Iranian and Valora have a friendship treaty and are, I want to say we're allies, but formally it's a friendship treaty, but for me are allies. So like the notion of a dominant power seems strange in that framework because like a dominant power implies there's like some relation of submission or with competition between nations. And if both nations, both prominent nations in Astray are allies, I wouldn't say there is really a dominant power. I wouldn't say that that notion can be applicable. So like I wouldn't say there's really an Astray dominant power right now, since the most active nations in the continent are both allied. And I think I think that it's a solid argument, and especially it's an argument that can leave many people like wouldn't make many people disagree, and it's not something like hurtful or anything. So that's it. That's what I've been thinking about it.
Great. Thank you very much. Would anybody else like to take the stage and speak? Jet Fox, you are
Yeah.
welcome to come up.
Let me
And,
check if okay, I'm not muted.
Yeah.
I think to add to Aza's point, there hasn't been any grand conflicts or any competitions to show any prowess of any other nations right now. Valora is a still developing nation, is pretty new, and so is many other nations are still in the process of developing, still finding themselves. So there is no metric by we can see which one is the most developed or the most powerful yet.
Very cool. Thank you. I tend to agree. But I do think that there is in every society somebody who makes the decisions, and it appears that these two powers have not collided. That's the wrong word. Worked together for the benefit of the continent, and that is great to see as a resident of the continent. Would anybody else like to make a statement? Collaborated. Thank you, Ekazet. That's a better word. Oh, did I say? I don't know. Yeah, that. Would anybody else like to make a statement? Anybody? All right. So our next topic might be a little bit kind of goes hand in hand, I feel, with the. So I'll do the next two topics. It's Astray's relations with Britannian nations, Danswick and Kartek, and can Astrayan nations work together in times of crises? I know, guys. I know. Here we go. Here we go. Would anybody like to make a statement first? Get comfy for this one. Anybody?
I don't want to start first again, so like if anyone else
Come on,
could,
guys. Somebody
could
go first.
talk.
I'll go first. I'll go first if you guys don't want to go first. Joda, I would love to have you on. Is everybody okay with Joda going first?
Okay, okay.
Yeah. All right, Joda, you're welcome onto the stage.
All right. So, essentially, what I can say is, again, from what I've been told, that Kartek currently does not harbor any aggressive aggressive tendencies towards any nation, as again only as I have been told, and I have recently also privately made a larger, essentially attempted to make sure that this stays that way for a longer while, giving advice to some of the leadership, essentially telling them that if they want to look good on the international stage and slowly be rehabilitated into essentially no longer being seen as the pariah state that they essentially are, that further military action is logically not the best choice, and therefore that they should better invest in things they can show off in a peaceful manner, such as cultural exports or industrial exports. For example, their capital, in which they've been essentially spending most of the money into, which they have earned by selling Theodosia to Zeltir. And yeah.
All right.
Yes.
If that is all. Oh, sorry.
One short thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is in the event that hostilities may still arise, I would like to also just simply give a kind of heads up in regards to the treaties that the United Duchies and the state of Kartek have, which is the protection, the protective alliance. And there I would also like to reiterate that essentially it is merely a protective alliance that only requires, or essentially only requires the United Duchies to intervene if Kartik were to be attacked, not if they were to start attacking someone else. So at the moment, unless my government does something else, the United Duchies will completely stay out of any kind of conflict in this regard. And as far as I know, my prime minister has also stated multiple times that if Kartik were to start any hostile actions, that that my government would swiftly move to likely even take measures to completely stop any international cooperation that the United Duchies have with the realm of Kartek.
Thank you very much, Joda, for making your stance on the position and Joda's very clear. I would like to now invite our next person up to the stage, Would somebody like to go next? Ekazet, would you like to go next? You have a question for? You have a question for Joda? Yes, you are welcome to ask it. And I will read the question out to you, Joda, just in case the voice call.
Right.
Welcome, Foxstar. If you would like to attend the event, I will send. Are you in the game? You're actually kind of joining at a good time if you would like to join in. So if you would like to log in, or you can just listen in the voice call, it's up to you. But we are currently discussing Kartek. Did it? Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. I completely missed Ekazet's question. Question is, does this agreement still stand if Kartek is the provoker in case of battle? They didn't attack first, but they provoked it. Example is the Iron Reach situation. I'm sorry for that, Ekazet, for getting to that late.
Just to answer that question, that is completely up to my government to decide. However, I have been told multiple times that they view any kind of aggression or provocation as essentially having started the attack themselves.
All right. Very, very good. Thank you both very much. Would anybody else like to make a statement on the matter? Jet Fox, if you would like to, you're welcome.
Yeah, a short statement. For a nation that's already been involved in seemingly shady dealings like Kartek, none of us can afford to give an inch from our liberties, from our rights, from our integrity. If we give a hand, they will try to take an arm, in my opinion. And any harm done to any Astrayan nation does not just hurt them, but also hurts the rights, liberty, and freedom of all Astrayan nations and of all Astrayan lands. This is not it goes without saying that we should not start any military conflicts or encourage any military conflicts, but we should stand firm against any threats that is from the outside of Astray. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jet Fox. If anybody would like to respond to that or make another statement, now is your time to do so. Azza, if you would like to come up, you're welcome.
Kartek and Iranian have had a very bad relationship historically. It's true that Iranian has its own sins from the past, and that we haven't been a very good nation to collaborate either until a while ago. But it's true that, in our opinion, Kartek wasn't also in the right and was committing the same mistakes that we were committing at that time, especially toxicity and lack of values or that of projects. I would say a very simple and concrete thing. We believe that a shadow has fallen over Britannia, over North Britannia, the shadow of the Vikings, and of course, as an ally of the rightful ruler of that land, aka Danswick, Iranians shall support any defense of Danswick and Valorant interest in Astray regarding any potential Viking interference in the continent. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you very much, Azza. If anybody would like to respond to that, now is your time. If anybody would like to make another statement, you are also welcome to do so. All right. Looks like nobody has anything further to say. I will make my statement. Short as a citizen of Astray. I will say that the recent attacks on the continent of Britannia, paired with the debacle with Theodosia, does have me concerned. And goodness. Um, uh, so that is my opinion on it, and my country, the Hunt, is in agreement with the nations of Valora and of Iranian in our stance on that. So if anybody has anything further to say, you're welcome to interrupt me. But if not, we will.
Wait. One last thing.
Yes,
It's very
yes, go
short.
for it. Go ahead.
I'm going to say just 2 words that I say in every tour when we reach to Kartek. Free B-Sport. Okay, that's my statement. Free B-Sport.
Thank you very much, Haza.
I first want to check and ask for my audio quality. Unfortunately,
Rockstar, if you want to make a statement, you're welcome to do so, whether in game or through the audio.
Unfortunately, I can't attend in game. That is very unfortunate.
Okay, that's okay.
But I think that as the only Kartik representative in this VC, that I am obligated to make a statement to the matter of Kartik. Basically, so basically what I've gotten is the 2 critique points of Kartik being first, the first initial expansion into the expansion we made into Northern Britannia, taking Visport, and the second one was the purchase of Theodosia. Is that correct, or was there any other critique points before I joined?
I believe those were the main ones. Yes, those are.
Very well. I want to now say, first of all, to Theodosia, because that is the most recent thing, is that Theodosia has been for the longest time a land, even before the entirety existence of Kartik, a personal property of Reljan, the king and emperor of Kartik right now. And it has been sold to Zeltier. It was basically a personal purchase, not really involving Kartik too much, I would personally say, because the Theodosian land was first of all not being used by Kartik, and we also wanted to sell it to somebody who can see more use in it. And as of right now, Zeltier is very open to give these lands to new players. So I wouldn't really involve these matters of Theodosia with Kartik too much. Of course, if anybody has any objections or anything to add, they can.
I believe Rise has mentioned he would like to make a statement. So Rise, you are welcome to take the stage and make your statement if you would like.
It's more of a question here, Foxy, because it's something that we were discussing before you arrived, but the whole it's personal property line, that's a bit old at this point. It's that sort of excuse had been used for 7 years in Trotu. What I've seen that most people see here is this cannot just be just one person and just like we the people here want to hold accountable the nations that this person is a citizen of, rather than just it's just a person. Because if people are not responsible for their own citizens, then we end up in this situation. And that whole thing of but he wants to give it to new players, that's not what he said. He said, if new players want to develop it, you can contact me. But it was more of a develop it for them rather than develop it like to make a nation or to make something of it. Jet Fox right now is saying personal land has no place in a geoball. That's basically the opinion I've seen from most here.
You can see it as a national purchase because Relja is the emperor, but I would say that as the official Kartik statement is that we didn't have any use for the land, and we didn't want to involve ourselves into Astray politics too much, and wanted to be a bit more and centralized inside. And Theodosia simply is not part of our plan. So we decided to basically cut the necessary part out and give it to someone who has actually some use for the land.
All right. If anybody would like to make an objection, you are welcome to. And
I have
will
a question.
Yes,
If
go ahead.
you didn't have any plans for it and you didn't want to participate in the politics of Astray, and you just wanted to give it to another person who would have plans for it, why didn't you just leave it? Leave it alone, like leave it unclaimed.
Well, the reasoning being is, well, first of all, for Relja, it was basically his personal choice to sell it. I believe, but you can talk to Relja about it more privately. I believe it's because he wanted to use the funds to build the city we're actually building right now, to basically fund our internal projects and to build a city for new players in Kartek. That is the reasoning why.
Foxstar, I do have a question for you.
Yes.
This isn't from me; it's from somebody else. They have asked about Felix and the Praga Felix situation, and how it's also in Astray, and in Felix admitted to it being a Kartek play to own land in Astray. He actually admitted to that. So what do you have to say about that?
Well, what I can say about that is, I believe he has also said that it was also his personal plan to create his own nation, and yes, he was in Kartek, and there was some talk about how he wanted to leave the nation, and it then came to an end saying, "Oh yeah, sure. You can leave." We also supported him in building a nation. We also gave him some material to build something up. But I mean, that's more. I mean, I know Felix personally, IRL. So it was actually me who tried to support him in that way as like a real life friend. But his nation was basically hated upon, rightfully so, because it was in new player land, making it a bit of a debacle.
Would
That's
anybody
basically...
like to make an objection or a discussion on that statement? You are welcome to do so.
I would like to for a second.
You are welcome. Go ahead.
Foxy,
Yes.
what if okay, I don't really understand why your reaction to the entire thing at the start was so different to what you're currently saying, because if I can remember correctly back then, that you were like really surprised and a little bit angry for not having really been involved in all of this. Or
oh yeah, totally. I can actually I remember when it actually happened. It was basically, it was like I remember Felix talking to me about how he wanted to create his own nation. I was like, yeah, sure, but like maybe not now, maybe later. And Joda, you also know him IRL, and I believe that you know that he can be a bit rash with his decisions and very stubborn. And so after just hearing a maybe from me, he said, "Oh yeah, let's get right to it." And I believe that he just like took the nearest land there was, which was new player land, causing a debacle.
Well, again to the reaction I've seen from you, or rather, yeah, generally the reaction and all of that, I don't think you actually ever told me that this conversation about if he's allowed to make a nation and you saying maybe like that you ever filled me in on that.
Maybe I
All I
didn't.
got, yeah, all I got was just you being surprised and a little bit angry for not being filled in.
I believe that was a personal communication error between you and me, but it's indeed true that I was surprised that it was so sudden and that my reaction was a bit alarmed because it was very sudden, and I don't really like sudden changes that way, which has startled me a bit.
I see.
The first days. Now, anybody wants to make a comment on that? Because I'm very willing to reply.
If you would like to make a comment or a statement, please come up to the stage. Anybody, if you're in voice call, exclusively, I don't know if anybody is, but you're also welcome to do so.
If no one wants to personally make a statement, then I would or any questions, then I would talk about some things which I think is important for everyone in Astray to know. It's
just one minute, Fox.
Sure.
I
Yes.
need to get
very
to my
well.
other topic.
Okay. Very sure. Yes.
Yes. So we want to talk about the Foxstar. I'll give you a chance to make that statement as the event concludes, as like a final closing remark, if you would like.
Yes, that's good.
So, Australian Nation's views on protecting lands for new players. I know this kind of does go hand in hand with what we're talking about, but I want to encourage everybody in the room to sort of think about it from all dimensions. So, what does that mean for countries that have existed on Astray long before the Theodosia situation, long before any of that? Is there land on this continent? Are we doing a good job as a continent of ensuring Astray is a habitable place for all of new players who may want to settle in what is personally my favorite continent? So if you'd like to make a statement, you're welcome to do so now. And it looks like nobody is getting up and wants to make a statement. So I will make a statement about it. And we have seen, especially over the past year, more organized efforts into trying to make land habitable for new players. But I would say actually more over the past 2 years. Personally, I joined at a time in the server when I really think that started to pick up, I want to say. And I was doing odd jobs around Trotu to try to make it more habitable for new players. And I think Astray is at an interesting point where we need to start looking at the continent as a foundation. At its core, what is Astray? At its core, who is turning this continent into a place that is not habitable? And I want you guys to think about that, and not maybe what you're thinking. Think bigger picture. I think quite frankly, from what I've seen, the Kingdom of Oceania has been extremely inactive for quite some time now. And I know that Lucky Shark has been making several efforts to ensure that the land is going to good use, and I duly appreciate him. But the simple matter of a fact is that there is a lot of land that Oceania has claimed, and I don't know if all of it's being used. So that's all I really wanted to say. But I still have good relations with Lucky Shark and Kingdom of Oceania, and I massively respect his country with what he's done on Oceania, not Ocean. Did I say Oceania? I'm sorry, Oceania. Oceania. I massively respect Lucky Shark for what he's done on Astray and for the server in general. So yeah, that's all I really wanted to say. If anybody would like to speak on that, you're welcome to do so. And if not, we will start our closing remarks. And Foxstar, if you would like to go ahead and give yours, and then we will give everybody else a chance if you want to make a final statement. You're welcome to do so. So Foxstar, you can go ahead.
Very well. But before I do my final personal statement, I want to comment on Oceania first, because it has been brought up. I can only give out my personal opinion about the Astray continent and Lucky Shark in general, because because the nation of Kartek does not want to involve itself in Astray politics, because we respect the sovereignty in every nation in Astray, and I don't think that Kartek involvement should intervene any politics in the southern continent, which is Astray. So my personal and truly personal opinion is that Sharky he's a good person, and I respect him a lot. And he was also the owner, and he's also a very old player, having a lot of history on that land. But I think that his efforts to unclaim certain regions and give it to nations like Iranian around Mishagrad, who are much more active around that region, is a very noble cause. So I can only hope for the future that either Lucky Shark is more online, but I cannot force a person to be more Trotu, or that the tendency of giving land away or giving land or declaiming land would happen more in the future.
All right, would anybody like to add to that statement, make a rebuttal? This is your chance to do so. And if nobody does, then you are also welcome to make your own separate statement. So anybody want to talk about what has been mentioned here today? Any closing remarks? Things, Joda, yes, you are welcome to do so.
Essentially, the thing I have been pondering about this entirety of this meeting led me to quickly also inform my Prime Minister about a certain initiative that could be tried once again, in case it has already, which is essentially a kind of, first of all, a kind of oversight committee which attends to lands deemed as cradles for new polities, and that, for example, a member nations that wish to contribute may essentially sign to grant unused some of their unused land to this committee if they really do not ever intend on maintaining it again. and these countries that have donated that land to this committee may at all times essentially request to be given their land back if they do actually again show an interest in properly developing it and being, for example, given some time to develop it, to actually make sure that it is developed, and which of course is then completely negated if, for example, a new polity is established in that land before one of the donating countries decided to start developing it. I don't know if I may have been a little bit incomprehensible with what
Can I
I've been
ask
saying.
you a question about that?
Yes.
So are you proposing that the people, I don't know what to call this. We'll call it the summit. Are you proposing that we were to join this sort of organization that protects new land for players, or were you informally encouraging them, or is there like are you making a proposal?
I would have. Was essentially a proposal that I may head the organization to start this kind of committee, and which would then essentially be made up of councilmen who would like to contribute in tending and maybe even protecting these lands, to make sure that it is indeed kept free for new prodigies to arise in them. And if, for example, a new player wishes to claim land pertaining to this pertaining and belonging to this committee, or as I have called it, the New Settlement Allocation and Protection Committee, or NSAPC, that they may at all times simply just send a request to it. It will be negotiated. Of course, if they're really new, then it likely shouldn't take too long, maybe a few minutes. But if that country were to be or if a already existing country would like to start developing lands belonging to this, that they may as well also send a request, but that could, for example, actually take longer because that country would then have to actively prove that they will actually develop it. That was essentially just the idea of it.
Very interesting. So if we did want to get involved with that, we would message you privately or message the council. How would we go about doing that?
Just message me directly. I mean, as I said, the organization doesn't exist yet. I would just be willing to, in the event that enough people were to be interested in organizing it properly, that I would be willing to most certainly help in organizing this international organization to, actually become a real thing.
Well, thank you very much, Joda. I think many people on Trotu would find benefit from that, as we all sort of make this effort to make Trotu as welcoming and as new player friendly as possible. So I think I will be personally participating in that. So would anybody like to talk further about this? We do only have about 13 minutes left before we are going to wrap it up. But if anybody would like to make any further statements, you're welcome to. If you haven't talked much, I would love to see you on the stage. But it's okay if you're a bit shy. It's fine.
I wish to now do my final statement to close
Yes.
the thing off.
Yes. Go for it.
First of all, I want to thank you all for all participating in the meeting, and I want to make the final statement of addressing addressing the Kartik plans in the future and what we want to do, what we want to show the world. And I think it's a good stage to start here to let you all know that what we have in mind as the first people who will listen to it. Basically, we in Kartik have worked hard, like for weeks now, to build up cities in Kartik. I think that we have created a city in under a month, which is the size of I guess I can only compare it now to all buildings in Danium. In under a month, which is an insane speed, and we want to achieve and we want to be much more benevolent, a nicer country, a diplomatic one which helps countries and new players, existing and new ones. We have even opened a diplomatic quarter in the new city to show the world for what good we can do as a country, which should not only be known for war. It is true that we are Vikings. It's true that we are warborn. But I want to show you all of you, that the sun should shine ever brighter in Kartik than ever before. And that we want to show our benevolent hand to every country on the server by changing our policy with an open hand to every country in Astray and on the entire server. So I want to say, please, in the next following weeks, I will send out all the news in all the progress which is happening in Kartik, and open embassies, diplomatic relations, and I hope that I can establish peaceful relations to all of you, everyone.
All right. Thank you very much, Foxstar. Would anybody like to speak further on that? Make a new argument? You are welcome to do so. Yes, Kat, you're welcome to take the stage and ask a question. And if you don't have a mic, I can read it out for you.
You're all good, man. I got a mic. So I know the protector idea was put forth by Joda and also Jetfox as well. Would such a protectorate joining it, would you be able to do that independent of your nation? So like if you were like an Iranian but you didn't want to like associate your joining the organization with that country, would you be able to join it, or is it like a country basis? This is for Jetfox and Joda.
For me, I think for the interests of this organization, it being disconnected from any nation in particular is very important. It needs to be a global organization anyone can join despite political or ideal differences.
Sweet. Thank you.
Thank you both very much. Anybody else would like to add something? You're welcome to.
I would actually give a recommendation to do the opposite of what Jetfox said. I would say they should go at a continent level rather than a international level. We've all seen, big international alliances happen, and they usually get the immediate, blowback of, they're trying to be world police or etc. etc. So I would recommend that this happens at a continental level, like this meeting where you have I think all of the Astray nations showing up. I think it's great if Astray has this, and then Harina has it, Germania has it, Atlasia has it, but it's on a continental level. because when you try to do things in an international level, it gets backlash really quickly. I don't know. That's my opinion. In Atlanta, we have terms against, land hoarding and stuff like that. There's literally an article that if you are inactive for 4 months, the nations have signed to basically lose their lands if there's a vote on it. So I would recommend to keep it at a continent level.
I actually. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Whoever was speaking.
Sorry. Yeah. I simply just wanted to quickly bring my stance on this. Essentially, that this would have this organization essentially just stays completely out of any kind of politics that may arise between countries and stuff, and simply only works to only really manages land allocation to new countries.
How can that be apolitical? Like, that's the most political thing that you can have.
Yeah, I do agree with Rice here personally.
Okay, I may have worded it wrongly. I meant existing countries' politics.
I don't get what you're saying now.
Essentially, yes.
I personally think that we've seen wars started over international organizations, and as nice as I would like it to be completely apolitical, the reality is that it just won't be. And that's really unfortunate, but that is the truth. I believe it is, and I think we've seen international organizations before. I'm sure you guys can think of some, and for one reason or another, it didn't work out. The goals weren't really achieved. So I think I like Rye's proposal of doing it continentally, and that was a reason I did Astrayan a summit first, was for that reason, because I think we're starting to see continental identification on Trotu, and that's really interesting, and that's something I don't know if we've seen on this level before. So I just want to know what you think about that.
All right then. I'll excuse myself from this bit of the conversation then.
No. I want you to. I don't want to like cut you out. I just want you to speak, because we're just doing dialogue. We're just trying to figure everything out. So don't feel like I'm like, If you don't want to speak, that's okay. But if anybody has anything else to say, you're welcome to.
I just want to add that I want to thank you, Kaizen, for having such a great meeting, and that this was one of, and I hope that these strain meetings, which you are leading, can be brought up again. And I also want to say personally that you are a very good speaker, and that this was a very good meeting. That's all.
Thank you very much, Foxstar. That means a lot to me, and I just appreciate that you recognize the importance of meetings like this. And I want to thank everybody who's in the voice call, everybody who showed up to the event today. I thought this was a great event. I thought we talked about a lot of the great topics, and we had a great discussion on Trotu. This is even though we may not agree on everything, I think that we can all agree that this is exactly what Trotu should be. It should be a place of diplomacy, a place of geopolitics, and I think we've demonstrated that this server is capable as ever of doing that. And so I want to encourage you guys. In 3 minutes, an event will start at spawn. You should go. It's a great event. New player wave. Rise, if you want to talk about it, you're welcome to. I know it's kind of your thing. So
they'll hear me yap for the next an hour and a half probably. So it's
fine. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm assuming most people here will be there. So we've done this all before.
Yeah.
And look who's joined. Right at the right time, Abe decides to join.
Awesome.
Right as it's ending. Lovely. All right. Well, thank you guys all for being here. And we will maybe do this again. And yeah, I'm excited for the new player wave. So thank you all very much.
That was a productive meeting. We should have this more.
I know, right? It was. I went better than I thought it would. It was great.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna head to spawn now for the player wave.
Okay. Okay. What the hell?